Hi, Gabe Teran from the city of Oxnard as a resident and also city council member for District 2. I'm going to be just going over with you some of the items you'll see on the city council agenda for the April 20th, 2021 city council meeting. So first you'll see on the agenda some closed session items, and these are two specific cases right now that are existing, and one is City of Oxnard versus the County of Ventura, and then the other is Knapp v. City of Oxnard. After that, this is one I'd really like to draw people's attention to. This is an appointment item that'll happen before the regular meeting. And this appointment item is a follow-up to a conversation that has been happening since December of 2020. And it has to do with mobile food vendors, specifically eloteros or corn vendors. And you can see from the picture here, that's who we'll be looking at. And the Ventura County Environmental Health Department will be discussing or presenting, I should say, on the item. And they are actually charged with processing and permitting food vendors, and they oversee food safety within the County of Ventura. And so they're going to be talking about what that is, how it works, but also why it's challenging for them to issue permits to the eloteros. And unfortunately, I'm blocking it right now, but all of these are actual pictures from the presentation, and this one behind me is one of their slides about considerations specific to corn vending and why it's so difficult for them to give permits to those vendors who use the push cart type of conveyance as they currently are used. So I encourage folks to please watch that, get the information. Luckily, this is really great news. This will be a live presentation during the meeting from the county department. Because they're not city employees, Measure M cannot prevent the presentation from being done for the public live. So I hope everybody will tune in to see the presentation, and you can access the presentation ahead of time to look at some of the slides and think of questions you'd like to ask during the public comment period. Next, we have a couple ceremonial items. They're both proclamations, and for April 18th through the 21st of 2021, the first proclamation will be designating that week as National Crime Victims Week. The second one will be designating April 22nd, 2021 as Earth Day. After we hear from the city manager's update on things, we will hear council reports, and then a report from the city manager department, an item where we will look to vote on the appointment of Mr. Jack Villa to serve on the Commission on Homelessness. And a quick thing about that, Jack Villa is an incredibly involved individual, currently first vice chair of the Inter-Neighborhood Council Organization, chair of the Hobson Park East Neighborhood Council, former chair of the INCO as well, and has been involved in a number of things and ran for city council for the District 4 seat in the most recent election, and I believe the one prior to that as well. And so, so obviously Mr. Villa is very involved. Know that he does live in District 4, but he is filling a seat from District 3. The reason for that is that the District's 3 vacancy for the Commission on Homelessness likely did not have any candidates or applicants for that position. And so Councilmember Madrigal is allowed to choose from the pool of any of the applicants from anywhere in the city if there were no eligible or any applicants from his district. So that will be something on that part of the agenda. Next, we move into the info consent agenda, and the first couple items here are 2 items from Public Works. And the first one is a safety plan and sustainable transportation planning project. And you can see their Public Works numbers there. The second one is regarding Senate Bill 1 or SB 1 and local streets and road maintenance and rehabilitation account funding for the project list for 2021-2022. And there's a lot of really great details in the staff report. Next on info consent is from the police department. And this is an agreement for animal safety services from the County of Ventura's Animal Services Department. And looking at this is year 2 of 5 So year 2 of a 5-year agreement. And year 2 will be for $2.4 million to provide those services to the city of Oxnard by the county of Ventura. And you can see there it already went to the Public Safety Committee, who approved sending it forward to council as an item to vote on. Next is an item from the Information Technology Department. And this is a renewal of the Tyler New World 911 system. And so there's a lot of additional details in the staff report for that as well. But you can also see the Finance and Governance Committee approved it. Let me move 3-0. I should know, I'm on that committee. And you can see that particular meeting as well to see some of the questions that were asked about that system also. Now we go into some public hearings. There are 2 public hearings for the evening. The first, they're both from the Community Development Department. The first is a recovery of nuisance abatement costs for the Halico site at 6200 Perkins Road. And essentially, this is adding to an assessment that's already been placed on the site that the property owner is responsible for. So this is just getting approval for the additional abatement that had happened recently. And the other public hearing is a True Hilton project appeal to the Planning Commission. So this was approved by the Planning Commission, and there's an appeal from opponents who don't want this project to move forward. And I encourage you to take a look at that presentation ahead of time, but also look at the staff report attachments to get all the information on it. And then lastly, there's 2 reports for the evening. One is from the fire department to move forward with an agreement with Falk Mobile Health Corporation. And it's for 3 years with the option to renew for 2 years, so a total of 5 years. And this is to provide ambulance services specifically to the city of Oxnard instead of using the contracted service that the county of Ventura uses for ambulance services. You can see the reasons for that in the presentation that happened ahead of time. You can also look at the contract and the reasoning for it in the staff report. And you can see how it's broken down by the 5 years there. But essentially, year 1 will be $7.1 million, with it being hovering between $6.5 and $7 million for each subsequent year. Additionally, they'll need to purchase some of the medical equipment that will be used in the ambulance services. So I would highly suggest people take a look at that because there's some very important information in the presentation and in the staff materials. And again, this one also went to the Finance and Governance Committee, actually the most recent meeting last week, and was approved and moved forward to the council for consideration by a vote of 3-0 with nobody dissenting. And the last report for the evening is a receive and file report on a quiet zone for railroads. And this is a very interesting presentation as well, and staff report. And this is just a potential application to do that. This is not to approve quiet zone like this is the decision. So I encourage folks to take a look at that information ahead of time as well, so you can see what that entails and let the city council know if you think they should move forward with it or not. And again, this went to Public Works and Transportation Committee and was approved 3-0. All right, so that is everything. I hope you got some great information on what this upcoming agenda will have on it. You can see the full staff report I've been talking about at oxnard.org/city-meetings. It's important you put the hyphen there. Thank you very much. Hope you have a great day. Take care.